Okay, welcome everyone to our May 25th edition of our AppMaker office hours. So I'm joined again with some of our colleagues here. I have Alex from our engineering team. He's going to be walking us through some of the newer samples that are in development. And actually, some of them are in production that you can even try out today. I also want to show just maybe a few little tips and tricks, both in the editor as well as like a first version of how to do a bit of internationalization on an application. So we can discuss that and some of the pros and cons. And then I'll also go through a bit of essentially like a simple trick that you can do to show links, essentially URLs automatically in an application. So it's actually easier than you would think. Okay, so let me just switch over into AppMaker. I'll just kind of jump right into the first bit of stuff that I was going to show. So this is an example that, as I was talking with Alex here the other day, he's building a help desk template application. And so the idea being that if you have like people logging tickets and putting comments, you'll typically want them to provide links to various like internal sites and stuff like that. So let me just show you how that works. So here's the application in preview mode, and I can put in like a comment. And so let's say try this link, and then I could put HTTP // and then I could, this one, I could just put in anything really. But because it has like the structure of a link, you'll notice down here in my kind of pseudo comment area, we actually have the link being rendered correctly. And so this is just a little bit of like regular logic. Maybe, and then it depends on how you use it. So like this one, it won't get parsed unless you actually put in like a special case. But anyway, so this pretty straightforward stuff, but it definitely comes in handy if you're doing kind of like a bulletin board or whatever, if you just want to like automatically render any links. So how does this work? Well, it's surprisingly easy. All it is a bit of code right here, where you can set up the regular expressions for the patterns. And these bits of regular expressions are pretty easy to find on the internet. And so actually, Alex actually pulled this down and put this snippet of code into this actual function here. So this is the actual thing that gets invoked, add links from text, and it has the handle over to the widget. And then there does a little bit of replacement of the link itself with the URL pattern as well. So that little bit of code is invoked and placed onto this particular widget. So here's like the design view of what I just showed. This is a label, and let me just scroll down to the event here on data load. So basically, once the data is fetched from the database and rendered here, it's calling the add links from text client script that I showed you, that function, and it's passing the actual widget. So this actual widget itself, the object gets passed to this client. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing too fancy about that, but we figure it might be kind of a neat little tip to show you. Also, let me just show you another while I have some code in front of me. The editor itself is continuously being updated. And one little thing which has been requested for a while, but now we have it live, is that you can actually comment like blocks of code. So for example, if I hit Control/, boom, I have my block of code easily commented out. So we have Alex who's going to show a few more enhancements and some things to look out for in the near future as well, but just kind of want to give you a sneak preview about that. Another topic that came up in the forums recently is the notion of how to internationalize an application. And so I have a working sample of how you would go about doing that using AppMaker. So just to give you a quick demo of what this looks like, what I did, first of all, is I created a simple form where I can go through and select the different languages, and it will change all of the prompts as you'd expect. So you can see here we have the French versions of the prompts, or labels, I guess. And I could just kind of page through these different languages on the fly. And so I'll explain how I created this solution. It's not hard, but it might be a little bit tedious to some degree because you have to essentially put your labels for whatever stuff you want to render on your UI into a data model. And so in this case, what I've defined was a data model that had all of my labels right here. And if I need to, I can continue to add more labels into this model. And then at that point, it's just a matter of creating the different languages. And so in this case, in order to make it easier for me to manage the data, I just created like an admin screen here to put in the different translations for that. And so actually, it's kind of interesting because Alex is going to show a translation demo in a little bit that shows how to actually use like the translation API. But in any case, I just did kind of a brute force method. So here's like the end result of my application where I've loaded up the different languages. And then here's my admin screen where I can go in and change the different languages. So in this case, I happen to have French, or I can change through and add like the different various translations along the fly. So that's kind of like the backend data. And so this is typically how you would want to set this up. And then this, of course, was just my example data that I had just to show. Now, just so you know, this is pretty good, but it's not our final state. What we want to do is be able to make it such that you can change the language on the fly, but then also have the built-in validation language change as well. So in that sense, that's something that you can do, but it's not a dynamic setting yet. So in case you're aware, we have this language setting here. So I'll just pull open the app settings. And as you can see here, we have app language, which also gives you a link so you can read up on it. But this is where you can actually change the language of the underlying application. And so in this case, this will give you the validation error. So if you enter in like something that's not fitting correctly. So in this case, since my language is English built in, I could type in like an error there and notice that it's coming back in English. So in order for that to return back in Spanish, I would have to go back to the language preference and then set that to Spanish. And then you would see the corresponding Spanish version of it. So let's go with Spanish Spain. And then at that point, I would actually have to publish it again. I can hit preview and should force the error. But my point being is that there's two different things going on. There's the actual built-in app language setting that is not dynamic and it's something you have to set. But then there's this notion of maybe using kind of something on the fly, which you can build into the application to handle it. So in this case, I've selected French as the language, but I'll enter in some invalid text, and now it's reverting to Spanish. So this is like something that we're working on. Our ideal state is to make it fully dynamic. And so we have an engineer who's looking into this such that you can change it on the fly. So for example, instead of even having like a drop-down list, you could have the browser detect the language preference and move from there. Okay. So moving on from that, I think I have anything else that I wanted to show. Alex, did you have some stuff that you wanted to show?
Yep, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and cancel my presentation or stop my screen share.
Okay, I'm presenting my screen. Do you see it?
There's usually a little bit of a delay, but
okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, okay. So first I want to show some very basic enhancements in our code editor, Maker code editor, which helps all the developers and simplifies the development. It's very easy and very obvious things, but it's really helpful. So for example, maybe you noticed we highlighted the active line. Now it's highlighted with some yellow background, so you see where the active line is, where your cursor stands, and so on. So when you switch from script to script, when are you working daily, so just you know just right away where the cursor stands. It's very obvious things. So the next one is we rethought the matching brackets decoration. So now it's just pretty obvious to find the matching bracket and what the just active region is. So you see the brackets highlighted with the light blue background. So you see it just everywhere. Also, I would like to, Chris already mentioned the line and block comments. So it works with Control/ or so you can just select something and
Controls.
Controls.
Mac control. If you're on a Mac, it's actually control, just so you know. So
okay. Control/. Yeah. So let's comment. Control Z. Also, I wanted to mention that all these things that I showed to you work with CSS and all other code windows. So, for example, matching brackets, active line, and just commenting. So, for example, I want to comment this line. Just let's try. Okay, so also, for example, if we see the
so you probably could also note that you're on the QA build, so there's always
yeah, definitely, yeah.
So these are up and coming.
Yep.
Except for the code, the block code commenting, that's in production today.
Yep.
And that's what I showed.
Yep. Okay, so next I want to show just really helpful feature. So, for example, let's just jump in. So here I have the server script with the 4 methods: method 1, method 2, method 3, and method 4. So, and on client script, now I can run, I can type just Google, Google. I don't know how it. Oh, okay. Google.script.run, and now you see that we have all the suggestions. So all public methods are here. So you just don't need to jump to your server scripts and find the appropriate path that you wanted to call. It's over here. And as you know, AppMaker has some naming convention to provide some private functions. So, for example, I have some private method with some code, and let's see how it works now. So you see that we don't have the private method in the suggestions list, but if we just remove it, so I made this method public and available to be called from the client script. So you see, and it's here. So yeah. So for example, if I'm writing, first I wanna specify the success handler. Then I wanna specify just a failure handler, and then I can, for example, call my method with some parameters and so on. So it's pretty much it. It's pretty easy. So I guess. Yeah, one more feature I wanted to show you. So there are some tasks when you need to know which users are in your role. So at the development time, at the deployment time, you specify some roles. You specify some users to be members of this role. For example, admins, HR staff. I don't know, some director, manager, anything. So some roles. And on the server side, we implemented a method to get actually users of that role. so you can get all the members of this role. I just want to mention, please note that if you specify some user group to be member of a role, we will not expand all the users. We just return the user group email as a member. So let's try and see how it works. So we have admins, it's a built-in role. Let's create a new deployment test. Okay, so users with admin access. Okay, let's add one more user. Okay, let's publish it. Publish. Okay, so we have deployment with the users, with the admin's role, and 2 users in this role. Okay, let's move next. We have a method that that prints console log all the members in this role. Let's just call this method. Okay, so we don't need all these. Okay, so all we need is just get role members and put string admins. Okay, I guess that's all what we need. And we have some button. Let's assign custom action. Code. Okay, I guess we are ready to go, so we can just test it out. Click, yeah, it's QA environment, so sometimes we have unexpected changes. Now editor is being reloaded. Okay, let's see. Okay, some changes. Okay. And okay, let's double check that. Okay. Okay, we are ready to preview, so let's try how it works. Okay, so one users with admin access. Okay, maybe it's
Hit save.
Yeah, maybe it's let's try.
And publish it again.
Okay. Preview should work, I guess.
That's where I wouldn't be so sure, though.
Yep.
You might want to turn on the console in your.
Okay. Got it. Seems it's due to QA environment, so somebody is experimenting right now. Never mind. Okay, so.
But just to recap, though, you're just showing basically that it's easy to grab the different roles via a little bit of coding, right?
Yep.
Which comes in handy, obviously, when you're doing anything from workflows or whatever. You want to be able to go and check out the security settings. It just makes it a lot easier. Right?
Okay. So next, I want to show just really briefly two sample applications that we are working on.
But these ones are already production.
Yeah, these are already on production. So we decided to do some samples, to do more samples, to get it more clear and make it easier for our users to just see real world examples and see.
So these are already in the docs as well, right?
Yep.
So if you go to our docs section under the samples, if you click on that, you'll see all of the samples there, and then from there you can actually click and copy and do exactly what Alex is doing.
Yep, definitely. So there are two new samples that are already on prod. The first one is drive picker sample. The second one is translation sample. So let's just move one by one. So this is a drive picker sample, and actually it uses drive picker, and I don't know, and basically it allows you to see all the information about the selected item. So you can see URL, name, some ID, document type, and flag is new also. If it was uploaded and picked right away, or it was just chosen from the your existing files or files shared with you. The second example is just uploading right away. So if you noticed, I clicked on App Upload tab, and then I just picked any file from my computer. I clicked Upload. It's some file, search HTML, and I picked it right away. And now this flag is true. So the file was uploaded and picked right away. So, and it's actually ready to use. So you can maybe share it with somebody or just save some information about this file in your application. So just anything. So
yeah, so this is a very common use case as well. People are always asking, so how do you attach documents or whatever? And typically we say, well, just put them in Google Drive. But here it makes it very easy to allow the application to give them the facility to actually put it into Drive and then track it from then on. So yeah.
Okay. I guess that's it for this sample. Yeah, the next one is translation sample. So it's pretty simple, just example. So we have source language, target language, text to translate in source language, and we can click translate and have the translated text to just any supported language. So just anything, really easy. And this sample uses translation API, and I can just show you the code. So in client script, I just pass the user input into the server, and on a server side, I call just one line, language app translate. It's built-in support for translation API. So basically, I pass as parameters source text, source language, and target language, and that's all. And this function returns me string translation, and I just show it in the UI. So really simple, and it allows you to include some translation stuff in your applications, so you can translate some text, phrases, words just right away in runtime. So yeah, really basic example. Yeah, I hope it's helpful.
One question I had, I'm not sure if did you actually show the source or how you built the drive picker sample? Just to kind of to give a hands-on of how you actually build it out. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So basically, this is a drive picker widget. It looks like a button, but it's actually a drive picker. When you click, the drive picking window dialog opens, and you can choose just one or two files. So it has some properties. So for example, now in this example, I enabled some features, multi-select. So I allow users to select just several documents, several files in the drive picker. simple upload enabled. That means that I allow users to upload files right away. And also it has views. So basically here you can specify what kind of, what types of files you allow user to select here. So I guess that's pretty much it.
One thing that I like to show on Dry Picker is like when you have a model, like a data model that's tracking various documents, it's super easy to put in a Dry Picker, and then you give the output, like once you've selected a file, you can set like the selected doc URL or the selected doc name. Those could be actually fields in a model. And then when you build a form based on that model, you just throw in a Dry Picker and have it populate those two fields for you on the fly. And then from then on, you have like your own tracking or a registry of documents that you want to keep within your particular application. Kind of like the approval, the document approval template app. You have that entry where you're creating like a new document to be approved. And I don't know if the Dry Picker is used in that yet, but it was something that it's very easy to add into that, and then it makes for a simpler usage of that particular application as well.
Yep. So basically, in all the basic cases, all you need is just put your Dry Picker widget onto your form, specify the data source, and bind selected doc URL, selected doc name to some model field. So I used here some scripting, some event handler on file select, but it's only to show some additional features of Dry Picker, just picked object, result object. I mean that we can get ID type, MIME type, and just much more other properties about the picked object. So basically, cool. That's it. Yep.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Alex. Definitely always good to hear from you. I'm going to go ahead and switch over on. I'll share my screen, and I'll hand it over actually right over to James. James has some updates from what they've been working on over at his company. So, James, are you online? Feel free to jump in, and you can present as well.
So yeah, let's stay on the presentation there for a second. Hi everyone, it's James Ferrer from AppMaker University. Oh, and hey Chris, I was just going to mention we have a free video on appmakeruniversity.com that has that Dry Picker widget going, feeding the data into a table like what you were talking about.
Oh, okay, good. No, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
It's such a useful feature, and so just so that folks know about it, that's great.
Yeah, it's a step-by-step video, shows you each thing you have to do to get those records to go right in there. So that's great. So hey, what I want to talk about today is we've been working on the AMU boot camp for quite a while, and we've got students all over the world that are taking the classes and learning how to use AppMaker, and it's been a really great experience. And something we've discovered is we get into some of the higher, it's a 10-module series that we teach, and each class is about an hour and a half long. And what we've been finding out is in the later modules where we're doing a lot more coding, it's been a little bit difficult for some of the students because they don't come from a coding background, or they really don't know JavaScript or AppScript, and so that's been a little bit of a challenge for them. So one of the things we've been doing is we've been really watching the forum, and we've been seeing where some of the questions have been coming from, and what we've been taking a lot of our AppScript experience from, where I've written a couple of books, O'Reilly books on AppScript and that kind of thing. We're taking that experience and we're starting to build a library of functions that work just like AppMaker API does in the UI. And I want to show you a little bit about how that goes today, but I guess a couple things to highlight. So we're using AppScript to host the library right now. It's 2 files, and I'll show you how that works here in a second. But we'll probably push that out to GitHub here pretty soon. We're just trying to get a kind of a handle on all that, so that we really do want it to be kind of a community project, so that we can really incorporate a lot of functions that make AppMaker even easier to use, especially for that more entry level or citizen developer. And so that's kind of the idea behind that. So a couple of things I just wanted to show you. One of the things that we have is, of course, search is kind of something that, it's pretty much a common feature that you'll see in most of them. And so if we search here, we get all the Johns here in the for our presidents. But what if we wanted to search 2 columns at the same time? Well, there isn't really a binding in AppMaker right now that allows you to do that. So what we've developed is part of the library to allow you to get multiple columns in your search boxes so you can have more of a universal search. And so, like for this one, we have George Washington, which doesn't contain the key Moore, but Westmoreland was where he was born. Same thing with James Monroe, which is really kind of interesting. Of course, Millard Fillmore has that MOR in his name, so that's why we see it show up there. So we're getting multiple column search. Another thing that we see a lot is people are like, well, I want to be able to export this data. And we thought, well, exporting data is great. It's built into AppMaker. If you just go to your deployment, you can export that data right out of a deployment, but you get the whole thing, or you get a whole table. And we thought, well, what if it was filtered data, like what we have right now, where we've done a search and we filter that? So we've added a little widget here where we can just click on the widget, and it's going to create a spreadsheet for us. And we'll open up that spreadsheet there. And then you can see that we just have the results of our table output here to a spreadsheet. And so typically that would take quite a few lines of code to write, but we've turned it into just one little line, and that's really kind of fun. Another thing that we'd like to see is, let me just clear this so it's a little easier to witness what's happening here. But let's say we were wanting to, I'll just use George. So right now George is in our list. And so I want to filter that list down, and maybe I want to delete all of the Georges out of the database. So we do have the individual deletes here on the table, but we also can add a button that will just delete all of them by selection. So if we reload, clear that out so we can reload and see the data, we can see that George is now gone out of our database. So it allows us to selectively delete more than one record at a time, or if you were to hit it right now, you could delete the entire database. So it could be something to use with caution, but definitely a lot of, adds a lot of extra functionality to your tables and things like that. Another thing that's really hard to accomplish is this idea that you want to either send people a link to a specific record, or you want it to open in a new page. And so like if we were to select Andrew Jackson here and click this link button over here, that's going to open up to a new page, which, and you can see we're reloading the app here in this case, and that's going to be to the specific record for Andrew Jackson. What's really cool though is we're creating a new URL that you could copy either out of the browser like that, and then open a new window and paste that in. And then of course it could be sent an email or that kind of thing, and it's going to be to that specific record. So it allows you links to specific records and to be able to reload those. So if you're sending an email or something like that, somebody could click on it, come to this specific record, and not have to go through search through the database for that record. So those are just a few things. It actually has a whole lot more than that built into it, but that's just kind of the basics of what we were showing for that. So let me just give you kind of a quick walkthrough of some of these different features and how you actually go about setting it up. So first thing is we've got the URL up here. It's going to be in the video later. You can watch the live stream later and get that, or you can write it down now or just go to it now. And what it's going to do is it's going to take you here to the app script for now. Like I said, we'll probably update this and put it on Git so other people can get involved. And if you're interested in working on this project, please just send me an email. James@ignitesynergy.com, and we can, I'm happy to add more features. I want to hear about it. If the best place to post new features you want is probably on the forum, the AppMaker forum, and just we can just keep working on a thread there that has more features that we can add. Or if you want to, if you're really good at JavaScript or AppScript, then join the project and we can grow this to have a lot of features. So let me just give you kind of a quick walkthrough here. There's 2 files here. We have the server and the client. And so what you have to do in your project is you need to make a server file and a client file. And then I guess I've been sitting too long waiting for this, but the AppMaker's always being updated, so we always have something new to show. What you want to do is you'd go here and you would just do like a select all and then copy for the server script, and then in App Maker, you would select. Sorry about that. Let me get this reload out of the way. You just select the server script and you just paste it here, and the same thing with the client script. And then that puts the libraries in your project, and then you don't have to really worry about these files after that. They're meant to not really be touched. Although, if you want to read about how some of the app script is working and the different features it has, some things like auto ID and totaling columns and making graphs and doing pivot tables and stuff like that. It's all built in here, a lot of the export stuff. So you can see how that actually works in code. And the idea is that we realize there's a lot of you that don't want to write all this code. And so we're trying to shorten that path for common things that we're seeing happen over and over and over and over and over again. So let me just do a quick look here at what some of these are. So, for example, we have this feature here where we've got this export. And so we've got a link here that just says our download link. We've got this button here, and the on-click has this AMU thing. And so let me just show you how this, because this is really awesome. We have the actual autocomplete that's working in here. So when we type in AMU, we can see all the different functions that are currently available in the library. We're definitely wanting to see that grow quite a bit. And they also work, some of them go a little bit deeper. So like this one's is amu.export.toSpreadsheet, and then it takes some parameters and it tells you what those are. So widget and the model name. So those are commented in the code so that you don't have to go look and find out what they are. It's actually telling you what it's asking for. And there's also additional, let me see if I can get that to come up. This additional information here where there's more, it's more verbose on what it's telling you that it needs for the different functions to work. So it's really as easy as that. You're just typing in AMU dot whatever the functions are, and then you're getting those to come out. So creating that spreadsheet that you saw, this is all you have to do. It's passing the widget, which is sitting on the page right now for the same data source, and then just the model that you want to export the data from. And so it's really very straightforward. That creates a spreadsheet in your drive, and then puts the link to the widget there. That if you've created a link, and see if I can get it to select, and named it the SS download link. So that's one of the pieces there. The little bit more setup on the search box here. Still uses the AMU search all fields, and we're just passing the new value that was in the text box in the widget. But we do have to do just a little bit of work on the data source itself. And that's where we're specifying the different fields. So in the query builder, we're using the name.campaigns, and we're using this keyword for each of the different places, each of the different fields. So we get to specify which fields in the database that we want to search. You do have to add a search field too there so you can get it to reload when you clear the text box and some things like that. And it just looks like this. And we'll probably do some videos on how to set that up later. I guess just one other quick thing, the delete all feature is simply just amu.deleteAll and widget, and that will either delete the records that are sorted in the table or all the records if they happen to all be showing. So there's just a few things. It's definitely evolving, and we're hoping to just make all of that code writing for the simpler functions a lot easier, a lot more approachable for everybody. Chris, are you still there?
Yep, I'm here. I was just responding to one of the questions on the forum. So I've gone through and I tried to answer somewhat quickly some of the questions that have come in on our chat here. So I think I pretty much took care of most of them, but feel free to add any more on our chat session.
That's great. Yeah.
And then on our side, I don't know if we have really anything else to show, unless Alex had anything else he wanted to present.
No, I guess we are good.
Okay, cool. So at least from the Google side, we're probably good for now. We can probably continue to close down or close out any remaining questions on the live stream. And other than that, yeah, feel free to just use the user forum, our Google group, for any questions at all that you have. And typically our overall team is monitoring that and usually provides answers as needed. Also, for the stuff that we showed today, I'll go ahead and post this out to the group. So like the stuff that's not already loaded into the app, such in samples, such as the stuff that Alex showed, I'll just send up a zip file of some of the stuff that I've done as well. Okay, cool. I don't think we have any other things to cover. James, are you good on your side?
Yeah, no, that was great. We're just we're excited to be able to work with the community and provide more stuff, training, just training on the AppMaker product, and all the things that we covered here in the library, of course, are also taught in our boot camp. So you get to use this stuff right away. But yeah, it's been a great experience. So thanks a lot, Chris, for bringing such a great product to the.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Thanks to our partners and the overall community out there. You guys have been really helpful in providing feedback all along the way. And also, just in case you're new to AppMaker or just kind of joining on, it's definitely a new product. We're on early adopter phase right now, and we're hoping to go GA later this year in the probably the late Q3 timeframe. So, but yeah, definitely all your feedback is very helpful, and we'll continue plugging away at it. So I think that's it from us over at Google. Thanks a lot, James. And we'll probably go ahead and sign off from here.